Have you ever finished a movie and then immediately been a bit angry at yourself for not getting behind this movie sooner? That's what happened here. I mean, is this movie perfect? No, but it's really good, and I had a really good time. So anyway, yeah, I'm giving away the video, but who cares? Let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. A charming thief and a band of unlikely adventurers embark on an epic quest to retrieve a lost relic, but things go dangerously awry when they run afoul of the wrong people. The movie stars Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, Regé-Jean Page, Justice Smith, Sophia Lillis, and Hugh Grant. There was this craze in the 1980s, for those of us who were around at that time, where Dungeons and Dragons was like, oh my god, it's satanic, and people using their creativity and blah, it was terrible. I don't know. All I know is that for whatever reason, I was never into D&D, like at all. Never got into it. Never knew anybody that was into it. So it's really strange when I sit here and I watch this movie and I say, I probably should have been into this the whole time, like my whole life. I mean, it's obvious, right? I mean, I'm obviously into the sci-fi and the fantasy stuff, right? Why wouldn't Dungeons and Dragons fit the bill? So yeah, I kind of wrote this movie off. Didn't think too much about it. I looked at the trailers and I thought, yeah, this probably isn't for me. Am I nuts? So let's talk about the movie. First off, the story. The story is really good, but the plot, there's a lot of plot in this movie. There's a lot of flashbacks. They throw a ton of them at you, almost to the point where you're like, is this movie like half flashbacks? It's not, but it feels like that at the beginning. It feels like there's a lot. But the thing is, the performances are so good that it carries you through. And so any reservations you have, they're alleviated by the amazing performances. The music is great and the effects are really, really good. Like spot on for the most part. There are some moments where I was kind of like, that could have used a little work. But again, I've already kind of made up my mind in the first 15 minutes that I'm giving this movie a little more leeway than I give most because I find it so charming. It's telling a charming story. Now let's talk about the acting, because the acting is pretty fantastic across the board. I mean, I can't think of a single issue with the acting. Chris Pine in particular, is continuing his career of playing these lovable rogue-like characters. And he's a likable guy. I don't know what to tell you. But here, he gets to show a range that really impressed me. I never thought that he wasn't capable of it. I just really hadn't seen a whole lot of it. So to see it here in a movie like this is pretty cool. Now, Michelle Rodriguez, to be perfectly honest with you, and I know Bucho loves it when I'm honest, but I've never been a huge fan, okay? We're talking about from Fast and the Furious to Lost to Avatar. I always felt like she could have been replaced by any person and it would have been fine. Not here. She is so good for this role. There are things that happen throughout that actually pull on your heartstrings. And she does a great job of doing that. Look, it's my favorite performance I've ever seen from Michelle Rodriguez, period. Now, Regé-Jean Page, I've only seen a handful of his performances, including the amazing Sandman series over on Netflix. If you haven't seen that, what are you even doing? Turn this video off right now and go watch that. But look, he's just got it. He's got that, whatever that intangible thing is that makes you go, that guy's a movie star. This guy's got it. And he's got it in spades. So, yeah, he was really, really fun to watch here. Now, Justice Smith, I've never seen before, but Sophia Lillis was in the It movies, which she really impressed me there. But here, I felt like both of them were, I don't know, I just wasn't really sold on them. And then throughout the movie, they do a really good job of kind of growing into their characters throughout the movie. So it actually made me like them even more. And there are some amazing sequences with the two of them. I really, really enjoyed that. And Hugh Grant, I mean, who saw that coming? I mean, this guy's had a little bit of a resurgence here in the last, I would say, 5 years, starting with The Gentleman. I think he was great in that. And here, he's so funny. He's so funny, and he's almost got that same. It's almost like a Chris Pine that's older, and more life worn. You know what I mean? It's. I mean, he is older, but it's just that thing where he's just as interesting and charismatic as he's ever been. The thing that kept surprising me in this movie were like the fantasy tropes were sort of turned on their head in a really fun way. And then, of course, it's a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. And not all the jokes land. I'm not going to say that it's just a riot, but I really enjoyed a lot of that. I mean, it's just like some of the ways that they use some of these magical items, some things that you might have thought of before or seen before in other movies or games even, and you're sitting there and you're going, this is like really fun. This is just a fun adventure. I'm really digging this. So yeah, I mean, look, I had reservations. Look, I don't know anything about Dungeons and Dragons, but I know what I've heard of dragons. I've heard of elves, things like that. I'd say if you're into any sort of general fantasy, if you're looking at this and saying, I don't know. Well, you like Lord of the Rings, right? Sure. Then go see it. Then see this. This is a good film. This is really, really fun. I mean, that's just how I look at it. I think if you're into fantasy at all, you should be seeing this movie. And by the way, in the US, it's available for free on Paramount Plus. Now, the directors have said that they have ideas for a sequel for this movie, and the problem is it didn't do too well at the box office, even though critics and audiences alike both really, really enjoyed this movie, it just didn't do too well. So who knows what's going to happen? But all I can say is at this point, we're in this situation. Let's support this movie, let's see what we can do to get these numbers up, at least streaming, so that Paramount can say, you know what, let's take a chance on another one. I think that'd be fun. So, Dungeons & Dragons, Honor Among Thieves, what did you think about it? Let's talk about it down in the comment section below, because, hey, that's what it's for, and let's see if we can get Paramount to make another one. I think that'd be really cool. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.